Welcome to a sight becoming all too familiar: empty grocery shelves. It's a scene that's been echoed in supermarkets and grocery stores around the world as consumers scramble to stock up on essentials. The cause? A potent mix of uncertainty, fear, and an instinctual drive to prepare for the unexpected. A quick snapshot of our current situation reveals a startling image: long lines of shoppers winding through stores, trolleys piled high with goods, and shelves stripped bare of staples like rice, canned goods, and flour. It's a sight that's become synonymous with the term panic buying, a phenomenon that has surged in recent times due to a confluence of factors. At the heart of this mass buying frenzy is the fear of food shortages. This fear, whether perceived or real, has led to a dramatic shift in consumer behavior. As key food items become scarce, people are rushing to stockpile goods, often buying more than they need in the process. It's a classic example of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The fear of a shortage leads to stockpiling, which in turn creates the very shortage people were afraid of. But it's not just fear driving these shopping sprees. Economic factors are playing a significant role too. With the cost of staples like beef and eggs skyrocketing, and the price of fruits and vegetables becoming increasingly unaffordable for many, families are trying to buy now before prices potentially rise even further out of their financial reach. It's a stress that's straining household budgets and fueling a sense of urgency to stock up now while supplies last. In the face of these challenges, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and anxious, but it's important to remember that panic buying is not the solution. Instead, we need to understand why it's happening, how it impacts us all, and what we can do to navigate these uncertain times responsibly. The question on everyone's mind: why is this happening? As we delve deeper into this issue, we'll explore the economic and environmental factors contributing to this trend and discuss practical strategies for managing during these challenging times. So, stay with us as we unravel the story behind those empty grocery shelves. Let's break down the economics behind this panic buying. You see, it's a chain reaction. The rising cost of food, driven by inflation and supply chain disruptions, is making families nervous. When the price of beef doubles in a matter of months and basics like eggs and bread follow suit, it's no wonder people are trying to get ahead of the curve. This is what economists refer to as anticipatory buying. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. We worry that food will become more expensive, so we buy more now, and that increased demand pushes prices up even further. It's a vicious cycle, one that's putting immense strain on family budgets and causing significant worry about the future. But why are food prices rising in the first place? Well, a lot of it has to do with increased production costs. Everything from fuel to fertilizer is more expensive now, and those costs get passed along to consumers. On top of that, labor shortages in many parts of the world are making it harder to get food from farms to supermarkets, which adds another layer of cost. And then there's the role of big food companies and grocery stores. Some argue that they're taking advantage of the situation, raising prices to boost profits. While it's true that businesses need to make money to survive, the question is whether they're crossing a line by profiting excessively from a crisis. So, what's the result of all this? Well, we're seeing higher food prices, empty grocery shelves, and a lot of worried consumers. People are trying to buy now before food prices rise out of their financial reach, causing a surge in demand that only exacerbates the problem. But here's the thing: while economics certainly plays a big role in panic buying, it's not the only factor. There are also physical challenges to our food supply, like changing weather patterns and natural disasters that are making it harder to grow and distribute food. But economics isn't the only factor at play. Mother Nature hasn't been kind to our food supply. Indeed, weather patterns have played a significant role in the current food production crisis. We've seen the destructive effects of unexpected cold snaps, widespread flooding, and record-breaking heat waves, each leaving its mark on the global food supply. Let's start with the peach crops in British Columbia. These fruits, typically ripe and juicy, were hit hard by an unexpected cold snap. The result? A devastating loss of produce, leaving farmers unable to meet demand and peach lovers with empty bowls and disappointed taste buds. Then, there's the flooding. Agricultural regions across the globe, known for their fertile soil and bountiful crops, have been inundated by relentless rain. These watery onslaughts have damaged field crops, turning once thriving farmlands into swamps. The aftermath: a severe drop in the yield of essential grains and vegetables, causing prices to skyrocket and availability to plummet. And let's not forget the scorching heat and drought. In the Southwest, these harsh conditions have had a particularly severe impact on lettuce, leafy greens, and vegetable production. Imagine fields of lettuce, usually vibrant and crisp, now wilted and parched under the unforgiving sun. The result is a shortage of these nutritious greens, making it harder for families to put healthy meals on the table. But it's not just about the food we're losing now, it's about the long-term effects. With each weather disaster, our capacity to produce food is chipped away at. And as our planet's climate continues to change, these extreme weather events are predicted to become more frequent and more severe. So what do these weather-related food production issues mean for us? And how can we prepare for the future? Well, it's clear that we need to start thinking about alternative ways to source our food, whether that's supporting local farmers, growing our own produce, or exploring sustainable farming practices. This isn't just about what's happening now. It's about what's to come. And with that in mind, we must prepare ourselves for a future where food production is increasingly impacted by the whims of the weather. Food security. It's a term we're going to be hearing a lot more. As we navigate this era of empty grocery shelves and rising food prices, we're forced to confront a reality where our access to essential sustenance is no longer a given. Food security, the assurance that we can feed ourselves and our families adequately and consistently, is under threat. This threat is multifaceted. It's not just about climbing prices or the fear of a barren grocery store aisle. It's about the broader picture of how we produce and distribute our food. The recent weather-related disruptions to crop production that we've witnessed are just the tip of an increasingly unstable iceberg. As global warming intensifies and extreme weather events become more common, we can expect more of these disruptions. The peach crops in British Columbia, the field crops impacted by floods, the lettuce and leafy greens wilting under record heat and drought in the Southwest. These are not isolated incidents, but rather glimpses of a potential future where food supply stability is a constant concern. And let's not forget the economic factors at play. As food prices rise due to inflation and corporate greed, families are stretched thin, trying to secure essentials before they are priced out of reach. This financial strain on households is another angle of the food security crisis, and it's one that is likely to get worse before it gets better. The implications of these trends on food security are profound, and they will affect us all. From the individual families trying to put meals on the table, to the nations grappling with the potential for hunger and unrest, the stakes are high. The question we're all asking is, what does this mean for the future? And the answer, while uncertain, is undoubtedly sobering. We are facing a future where the very basics, feeding ourselves and our loved ones, could become a daily struggle. So what can we do? The answer requires a shift in how we think about food, how we source it, and how we prepare for an uncertain future. But remember, knowledge is power, and we're in this together. Smart stockpiling is about more than just filling your pantry. It's about ensuring you have enough food and essential supplies to see you through periods of scarcity without exacerbating the problem for others. So, how do we strike that balance? Firstly, buy in bulk when possible. Not only does bulk buying often come with discounts, but it also reduces the frequency of your shopping trips, thus limiting the demand pressure on grocery stores. Essentials like grains, canned goods, and non-perishable items are great for bulk buying. Next, consider alternative products. If your preferred brand or type of food is unavailable or too pricey, go for alternatives that serve the same purpose. For instance, if fresh fruits are too expensive, opt for frozen or canned versions. They still provide the essential nutrients and can be stored for longer periods. Now let's talk about food preservation. Learning basic preservation techniques such as canning, drying, or freezing can extend the shelf life of your food, minimizing waste and maximizing your stockpile. This way you get to enjoy your favorite fruits and veggies even when they're out of season or in short supply. And here's a pro tip: diversify your food sources. Relying solely on supermarkets can limit your choices and make you more vulnerable to price hikes. So explore your local farmers markets or join a community-supported agriculture program. These options often offer fresh, locally grown produce at reasonable prices, and you're supporting your local economy too. Lastly, remember to plan your meals. Knowing what you're going to eat and when can help you avoid unnecessary purchases and make the most out of the food you have. This not only saves you money but also reduces food waste, a win-win for your wallet and the environment. But remember, it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. By smart stockpiling and thoughtful consumption, we can ensure that we're not just prepared for times of scarcity, but also living sustainably and responsibly. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about getting by, it's about maintaining our quality of life, even in challenging times. Looking ahead, preparation is key. We've seen the empty shelves, the rising prices, the dwindling supplies, but what comes next? The answer is in your hands. The first step is to stay informed. Keep your eyes and ears open for news about food production, climate conditions, and economic trends. Information is power, and the more you know, the better decisions you can make. Second, consider growing your own food. It's not as daunting as it sounds. You don't need a sprawling garden. Even a small balcony or a sunny windowsill can host a few pots of herbs or vegetables. Not only does this provide a source of fresh, nutritious food, but it also reduces your dependence on grocery stores. Next, keep adding to your prepper pantry. This doesn't mean buying out the entire canned goods aisle in one go. Instead, consider purchasing a few extra non-perishable items each time you shop. Over time, these small additions can build up a substantial stockpile. And finally, always be on the lookout for sales or clearances. These can be a great opportunity to stock up on essentials at a fraction of the cost. But remember, it's not a bargain if you buy more than you can use before it spoils. But let's not forget one crucial element: community. By supporting local farmers and food producers, we can strengthen our local food systems. This not only helps to ensure a consistent supply of fresh, local produce, but also supports the local economy and reduces the environmental impact of long-haul transportation. The challenges we face may seem overwhelming, but remember, preparation isn't about panic. It's about proactive steps to ensure that no matter what the future holds, you and your loved ones will have the food you need. Remember, being prepared isn't about fearing the future. It's about being ready for it.